everyone, it's Nicole and welcome to my channel. Today I decided to breach the topic that never allows me to move past the first date with the girls. My Harry Potter woman-loving women headcanons, which partly brand me as a sexless geek. Well, at least they're good, so I decided to monetize them. When we're talking about queering Harry Potter, it's often a discussion of which guy character is into another guy character, and I would like to mention that I'm not at all opposed to that. I'm a huge fan of some pairings in the Harry Potter universe, but we often overlook girls and they make fantastic couples in my mind. I have very specific tastes. I'm not much into friends to lovers tropes, so a lot of my ships are hate to love or based on differences between the characters, because I believe that we are attracted to something that is not similar to what we are. My favorite type of ship in Harry Potter world is such a niche ship, I feel. It's Fleur and Hermione Granger. I know that the most popular ship is Ginny slash Luna Lovegood, and I understand the appeal of it, but Hermione Granger and Fleur are such a top-notch ship, and I'm going to explain you why. So basically Fleur is this out-of-this-world celestial beauty that is used to people doing things for her because she's pretty and she's slightly older. Often in fandom she's also perceived as shallow and stupid, and it's the type of reputation that Hermione gets wrapped up into because she's jealous. In the book it is explained as jealousy because of Ron's Weasley obvious attraction to Fleur Delacour, but in my brain it is something else. So Hermione is this bookworm. She is very much so a by the rules person. She doesn't do anything even slightly forbidden, but many times in the book she has these moments where she does something for the sake of a greater good, so she is capable of breaking the rules.
I'm going to just drink a little water here. Anyway.
So she's fully capable of breaking the rules. She just needs a little push, or she needs time to think about it. She's basically me, so I'm shipping myself with Fleur, obviously. In the fourth Harry Potter book, Hermione seems to be obsessed with the idea that Fleur is getting things she doesn't deserve, and Hermione has to fight for them. So I believe that she also perceives herself to be disliked or despised by Fleur, because Fleur is this serene creature, and I don't think so. I actually think that Fleur respects her. This is a type of pairing that is born out of the idea that pretty girls and smart girls cannot be the same girl, and these two types of girls must hate each other. So by shipping them together, I kind of am trying to break it. I also think that aesthetically they would look extremely cute together. Like, I am all about it. I've read so much fanfiction, you're going to judge me, where Fleur is married to Bill and Hermione for some reason has to live with them for a little bit, and Hermione has this crush on Fleur and Fleur has this crush on Hermione. I know, don't judge me. Don't judge me. This is just a thing, a situation I can see them in. I also can see them in a situation where they go to a magical university. I know it doesn't exist, but let's pretend that it does. Fleur is a year older, maybe she's a TA, maybe they are doing a project together, something along those lines. But I always imagined that Fleur is a few years older, so Hermione kind of looks up to her. Not like to an icon, but like to the type of girl I've had crushes on when I was younger, like the hot girls that never paid attention to me. This video is telling you too much about my dating patterns, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. Anyway, I think Hermione and Fleur could be a very lovely academic romance, and I dig that. It also can be not as lovely romance where Hermione is in love with a married woman. Okay, I'm ready to move on and start a new page with a new pairing. The second pairing that I really enjoy, I have to warn you that this video is going to have some pairings that are very popular in Harry Potter fandom and some that are very obscure. This one is popular. So Ginny and Luna Lovegood, a lot of people ship this, and there is an appeal because they are actually friends in the books. And usually I'm not a huge friends to lovers fan. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. But there's something about them. First of all, Luna is such a softie, she's such a wholesome character, she's a person that would make anyone feel good about themselves. And Ginny is the butchiest girl in the series. The street consumers of Harry Potter books do not want to recognize it, and it pisses me off. She's so butch. Her having long hair feels wrong. Like, I'm pretty confident, at least my brain is, that when she'll start playing for Harpies, she will buzz her hair off, because I cannot see her with long hair. I literally can't imagine that. I also really don't like the casting for Ginny Weasley in the movies, and the way they reduced her to this meek character. It's extremely annoying because Ginny is not a pushover. Ginny was growing with a bunch of brothers, and she was the youngest, so she had to speak up. I believe she's very strong-willed and she's a total top. Like, don't even try to tell me otherwise. So there is some fan art I've seen with Ginny and Luna where Ginny with each ear cuts more of her hair, and I think it's the most close to what I see for them as a couple. What I think would be a driving force for this relationship is the fact that Luna is such a softie, that she's so feminine, and that she likes a completely different set of activities. Ginny was growing up with brothers, that's why she learned to appreciate sports. She's into Quidditch, she's into masculine types of communication, and Luna is a completely different person. I would imagine that Luna would write a lot of terrible sappy poetry to Ginny. She would make her some flower crowns for her non-existent hair, and that she would make a lot of crafty presents for her and be this homely person. This is the jock/weird girl pairing that we've seen in a lot of romantic teenage comedies, where an athlete that is supposed to date a cheerleader in our eyes, or someone popular, is dating someone not as popular, a little weird, is making a choice that not a lot of people understand, but this person completes them, and this person makes them happy. For example, I imagine Ginny having strenuous training sessions with her team and then coming back home to some baked goods, and Luna in a chair doing some silly craft, and they start doing it together while eating dinner. It's really wholesome and cute. Another Ginny pairing that I really like is Ginny Pansy Parkinson, and I know that it's weird, like they never talked to each other in the books. I know that, I'm completely aware, doesn't stop me from shipping them. I think they would have an interesting dynamic. I'm always into Slytherin/Gryffindor pairings. I also love a good Ravenclaw Slytherin pairing because they're the power couple type of pairing. Or I also enjoy Hufflepuff Slytherin. Like, I'm not that much into Gryffindors. They peeve me a little bit. I'm a Slytherin myself, would think twice when it comes to dating Gryffindors. My leg is cramping again, I'm so sorry. I'll explain this relationship and why I ship it, and I believe you will get on board. Like, I'm 60% sure. We know that Ginny got into a professional Quidditch team, and she's a Quidditch player. Pansy is the type of person that we have not seen a lot in the books. We know that she was very into Draco and that he was parading her around as his beard. We know that Pansy is a bit of a bully and that she loves a good gossip. So a career that I would choose for her is a journalist. I feel like she's going to go the route of Rita Skeeter. She's gonna be trying to pull out some scandals, and that's gonna be her journalistic style. It won't be necessarily the best and most wholesome relationship, but we're not about wholesome relationships here most of the time. I can see Pansy trying to find something dirty on Ginny, since now she is famous. I see the conversation where Pansy would try to dig into Ginny's and Harry's divorce, and Ginny would act like any pissed off bisexual out there and kiss her. I can see it with my own two eyes. I believe you also can see it. I don't see them building a relationship in Hogwarts, I have to say that. I can only see them outside of Hogwarts, and in this scenario specifically, no one had written this fanfiction yet, and I want it so much. I can figure out other scenarios for them, but I think this one is the most believable. I also think that it's an interesting dynamic because despite Pansy being a person that likes being on top of other people, Ginny is going to be the one to shut her, and not in the worst way possible. So I'm a huge fan of this weird, maybe say weird pairing, which is Minerva McGonagall and Rolanda Hooch. I know that I don't have any reasons to believe that they were girlfriends, are wives, but I have legitimate headcanons about them, and these headcanons are really good. So I believe that they met at Hogwarts, and Rolanda was a Gryffindor because she seems to be a person that loves a risk. Minerva and Rolanda got together while they were in Hogwarts too, and they were girlfriends/wives since then. So they're still dating as older women. They live together in Hogsmeade, have a lovely tiny house, and their personalities make a wonderful dynamic. Minerva is a very strict person. She loves when things are the way they should be. And Rolanda is the type of person who loves a mess. She loves adrenaline coursing underneath her skin. So I see Rolanda as the only person Minerva is allowing herself to take all the strict layers off, and Minerva is the type of person that is reining Rolanda in. So she's the partner that tells Rolanda off when Rolanda is not being careful with the kids at the Quidditch matches, when she puts them in danger. She's trying to be careful just because she knows that Minerva is going to give her shit for everything. And I also believe that their biggest fight was when Rolanda considered to become a professional Quidditch player, because she was very worried that Rolanda is going to get injured. This is how I see them. They are these two teachers in Hogwarts that are in a secret or not so secret relationship with each other. Well, at least not so secret from other adults, but maybe the kids don't know about it. And I stan this. I stan older women that are together for years and years and years, especially they met in college or in school and they kind of grew up together. I'm very into that. I can see Rolanda taking Minerva's glasses off when Minerva falls asleep reading the kids' transfiguration homeworks. I can picture it. It's very sweet. Parvati and Lavender must be the only real friends to lovers couple that I ship from Harry Potter. They're always together. Like, Rolanda is annoying, we know about it, but Parvati loves her despite everything because she's her best friend and she understands her like no one else. There also is an interesting scene in the fourth Harry Potter book at the Yule Ball where Parvati and her sister are going to the Yule Ball with Harry and Ron. I believe that Lavender had a crush on Ron since then, and Parvati couldn't deal with it, so she asked her sister to go with Ron instead. So Lavender won't. And that is my headcanon for them. I see their dynamic as something like we're fooling around with each other, but we are not committed to each other, and Parvati has too many feelings about it, and Lavender is being a dick. Well, a little bit of a dick, or just a little bit oblivious to Parvati's feelings, and they eventually work it out. After Lavender dates Ron and finds him completely useless. But also Parvati is Lavander's first. She definitely experimented with her because she's definitely the person to prepare before dating other people. And this is a bit of a heartbreaking headcanon. I know that most people think that they're very soft and this is the most wholesome relationship. I know that some people really ship them, but I see them as something angsty turning into a fantastic relationship afterwards. The other ship that is quite popular too, and I like it very much, is Pansy and Hermione. This is literally Harry and Draco, but an FF version of it. So, of course, I am attracted to that type of a dynamic. Well, when you think about it, not exactly, because Hermione is not Harry. Like, for example, she's much smarter. But anyways, it's the Slytherin-Gryffindor dynamic, like the classic. What I think would connect them are two possible scenarios where Pansy and Hermione would become friends because they are trying to push Draco and Harry towards each other to make them a couple. So the matchmaking scenario, or another scenario, because they do have something in common. Pansy and Hermione were prefects, and they must have patrolled the corridors of Hogwarts at night together at some point. So I believe that would make them closer either way, even if they don't like each other. I don't believe you can stay silent for hours and hours. You would start asking questions, or you'd start talking to the person that you don't even like. And in that, they might find a lot of similarities. I do believe that they have some. One obvious example is needing to discipline their own friends. Pansy obviously is the type of person that was running after Draco and then afterwards was trying to pull him together and pull him out of trouble. That's how I see their relationship and their dynamic. She was the foolish girl that is in love with a guy she's never going to get. But in my opinion, she would grow past that. I genuinely can see them becoming this power couple. I think they would have less toxicity than Draco and Harry, because Draco and Harry have more issues to work through to become a decent, wholesome couple. Wholesome is a bad word for them. I don't think they would ever become a wholesome couple. Anyway, we're moving on to the last and the most obscure ship that I have, which is Helga Hufflepuff and Rowena Ravenclaw. I don't have any reason to believe that they could be into each other, but I do have a fantastic headcanon for them. So, we know that Helga was into growing things. She was a gardener of sorts, like she had a green thumb. And Rowena is a person that is very introspective. She's into books, she's into learning. So they could be wonderful together because they would try to get away from Salazar and Godric. Because I believe Godric and Salazar would be at each other's throat every second of every day, and that would be exhausting. So I see Rowena coming out into the garden to get away from them and watching Helga work and pretending to read a book, but actually being very much into Helga. I suspect that even though Rowena was this smart, capable human being, she would have a bit of an anxiety when it comes to talking to a girl that she likes. I also often cast them as Angel Colby and Casey McGrath, so the fact that I also ship them on Marilyn BBC doesn't help much, because it only fuels my obsessive shipping heart and I cannot deal. They would be so perfect. I'm still so mad what they've done with them on Marilyn BBC. It was unacceptable. Completely. These are all the FF pairings that I ship from the Harry Potter universe. In the comments down below, tell me if I convinced you to ship some people, or tell me about your ships and your headcanons. I'm always interested in other people's headcanons because they are just fun to read. If you enjoyed this video, like it and share it with other people, it's very important, and subscribe to this channel to see more. Thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you soon in my next one, but until then,